Hey, curiosity, what are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.
All right, we don't have a monitor.
Yeah. Did somebody forget to turn it on?
You're looking.
Yes.
Do you have to do everything?
You're the one who set up this whole room.
I don't know if it's us or the control room, but we have no monitor here, so we'll just wing it, I guess.
We'll
Now-
just assume we're on TV and
Yeah,
being
we're just going to
recorded.
assume
Yes.
we're on TV. So I wanted to say to you guys this. We run so fast here. We did live news from 4:30. Now it's close to 8:30. I had to go to the bathroom. I didn't even have time to do that. I hope I make it for the
Well,
next
do
half
you
hour.
want to just go real fast? We'll wait for you.
We can handle a couple
I am
questions.
a 59-year-old man with a large prostate, so we're going to do our best
We
here.
were running in here to get here in time, and he's like,
Yes.
I'll be right in, I have to go to the bathroom, and then we hear 30 seconds in our
like-
ear, and he's like, never
No
mind.
time. No
All right, so
time.
welcome to the podcast, and this is recorded, so it's the audio
And
version.
we have new watchers today.
Ooh.
Right? All the new people.
So this podcast we started doing live back in June on the WNEP Plus because we
Right.
have our whole streaming newscast. It's still available as a podcast that comes
Yeah,
to
so
you
that's,
on Monday.
that's released on Monday.
Yes.
But this is the live version where it's video and audio, so here we go. Are you ready to dive in? So if you got a question, brownbag@WNEP.com. Keep in mind, this is only as good as you people make it. So
Yes.
the questions come from you, and all we can do is answer, because I think everyone's curious about certain things. And
Oh, look, we have a strange
we're
man turning the monitor on for
baby.
us.
Crawling on the floor under the camera to get the TV
Thank you,
on
Corey.
for us.
Corey, you really need to wave at the people. Corey,
No,
don't
he's
crawl.
crawling,
He's crawling.
on all fours. There he goes.
Crawling. Oh my goodness.
Who's going to go first? Let's start answering these questions.
Mindy,
no.
go for it.
Because I had to be a chia pet today.
Because
Is
you had
that
to be
why?
a chia pet.
That's right.
It was really hard. I had to refix my hair like several times today.
You look great.
Oh.
Brownbag
This
at
was
WNEP.com.
recorded. If you're listening next week, this was recorded on
On
Halloween.
Halloween,
On
exactly.
Halloween.
Today is Halloween.
Brownbag at WNEP.com. All right, here we go.
All right. I would love to know how you guys keep your composure when you guys actually have to talk about the news. I would not even be able to make eye contact with any of you without laughing. What's your trick? This is from Dorothy in Effort. And Dorothy, I get it. Well, so there's so many times, Joe, you don't really realize this in a way, but we're talking to you and you're in the backyard and we're laughing, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, death and destruction topping
Oh,
our
I see,
news.
yeah.
And it's hard.
We joke it's the hardest transition in television.
Yeah.
To go some mornings from first weather, which we call it, which is when we go to Joe right off the top of the newscast. Here's what the weather's going to be, and then you're usually setting the stage for the fun stuff we're going to do the day. And it ends with something really funny.
Yeah.
And then we move and turn to a different camera, and the top story of the day is, and a lot of times it's something.
Something horrible.
Yeah.
So because I'm not a trained broadcaster like you guys, I'm pure science. Tell me how you do it. You guys trained in that, or it's just something you learn?
We have gotten really good at it.
I think so.
Is
Just
that something
practice.
you literally go through in college?
No, they don't.
Nothing like that?
No.
Not like that. I think one or the other, like, we'll point out to each other if it's a really tough transition. You know, we'll go in there and she'll be like,
Yeah.
this is a really hard story. We're coming out of this. So you'll notice, you probably don't even notice.
I don't notice.
Sometimes you're doing something fun and we're like, all right, Joe.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
And then,
Other times we'll take part in it right then
Yes.
Yeah.
before we transition to the
so
news.
Dorothy, that is a great question. It can be really hard sometimes, but and I'm so glad we get to have fun because that makes our day better.
And I thought
right?
you were just giving me the cold shoulder a lot of times when
No.
you guys just
No.
go, thanks, Joe. I'm
No,
like,
no, no,
Geez,
no.
what
There's
did I
a
do to
reason.
them?
Either we have the producer in our ear telling us we're way
Yeah,
over.
sometimes there's that.
Oh, good.
Or-
My feelings were hurt for all those years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought you were just giving me the cold shoulder.
Oh, I feel bad now. You're
And-
lying.
No,
And
I'm serious.
I will say that the viewers watching at home, if we're laughing, it's all real.
Yeah.
Like the,
Yeah,
the
that's
stuff
true.
that we get a kick out of, it's all really happening.
I love
Yeah.
it.
We don't fake laugh for TV purposes.
That's what makes
Sometimes.
this so fun because it's all real.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Johnny, baby, you're
Okay.
up.
Yeah, we're going clockwise. We're never going counterclockwise again.
Until we
That's-
do a live broadcast in the
I just
southern
spilled a bunch.
hemisphere.
Yeah,
we
until
go
we
on
go
the-
to Australia,
Yeah, then we're
take
gonna do
the
the
show
opposite.
on the road.
That could
All right.
happen, maybe.
When you're
Could happen.
traveling down the highway and there's a lane closure ahead, do you merge into the open lane as soon as possible, or do you ride the closed lane all the way until it
Ooh,
closes?
I call that a jack move.
Why?
I don't know why I call it that.
Jack?
Yeah, do you guys ever say that? A
No.
jack move? Maybe that's an Iowa thing.
To if you're the one that drives all the way to the end and then merges?
If you do sort of a jerk move, I call it
Oh,
a jack
jack.
move. I don't know why.
Well, to the answer to that question, that's my opinion. You're a jerk.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're a jerk when you do that.
Yep.
I hate those people.
Do you know what's interesting? PennDOT, if you talk to PennDOT, what they want you to do is go all the way until the last and merge.
Wait, I thought that's only when you're doing an on-ramp. That applies to traffic too?
We actually did a story years ago that the way they design it for traffic is that they want you to merge right at the end, and it's going to keep traffic going the best. It's still going to be a slowdown, but they want that.
I'm sorry for calling all those people a jerk. I'm wrong.
But what happens is that because everyone's getting over early, then you are the jerk if you're passing everybody and going in, and then you're slowing everything down. It's a no-win situation because everyone's not going to go to the end.
Yeah.
If you look now, sometimes on construction zones, they'll have a big sign, merge at the merge point.
Okay.
They're actually telling you to merge there, but everyone gets in as soon as they start seeing the signs.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of us have been there that you've sat and waited, and then that guy comes flying by.
Yeah, and it's so
and then
annoying.
you don't want to let them in.
You don't want to let them in. I love when the tractor-trailer drivers block them.
Oh, and they get so
and they get
close
so
to
close
each
they're
other.
blocking them. I'm like, yeah!
Maybe I'm not being a jerk. Maybe I'm being more efficient.
I think it is more efficient in certain situations, but not when you really rush ahead.
No.
And some people, they're on the side of the road and they're just trying to
Oh, they're on the shoulder.
That's
Although I have done that.
You've been a shoulder
You've been a shoulder driver?
Well, the thing is, there's been a couple times, there's been like a big slowdown right before the Clark Summit exit, and I have to get off on that exit, and I can see it, and I see it like if I just get on
I
the
think that's
shoulder.
different.
Yeah, I think that's different.
I think that's okay.
It's
Yeah, I think
okay
that's
to be a
different.
shoulder driver then?
If you know you're the only one that's going to exit there, I think that's okay.
Well, somebody could exit in front of me.
They
and then,
could, but I think if you see the exit, you can safely go
Yeah.
along the shoulder. Now, I'm sure the police and PennDOT would disagree with us.
Yeah.
But
I have been a
no,
shoulder
that's
exiter.
I think that's okay, shoulder.
All right,
Shoulder.
all right.
That's an okay shoulder
okay
exit.
they're going to
Thanks,
send
Sue.
you a ticket in the mail.
Who is
Because
this, by the way?
Those people in front of you, Mindy.
Why didn't you say it was from Travis?
Oh,
I
that
didn't want
Travis
to.
one?
I
Yeah,
didn't
we don't want to make it like it's all him. So let's not.
Because it was still a good question.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this one is by B.L. Smith. See, it's
Hi,
not
BL.
Travis. All right.
Hi, BL. I don't think we've ever had BL before. Yeah.
You, because I'm going to seem like the bad guy here.
Oh.
Really?
Well, I don't know because he's in my department. No, I'll read it.
Okay, no, I'll read it. Well, no, you can read it.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Joe, why is that Kurt unplugs Culkinstein constantly? So Culkinstein is our Culkinstein is our Frankenstein in the backyard. It's the animatronic Halloween thing. He claims that it scares his dogs, yet it's unplugged anytime he's there, even without his dogs. I say you hit him where it hurts and start unplugging his choo-choo train.
Ooh.
Give him a taste of his own medicine.
This is some serious recourse.
So because I don't watch our newscasts, I'm going to ask you guys, does give him a taste of his own medicine. Does he really unplug this? Is it not moving in the later broadcast? I don't know.
I haven't really noticed because it's so intermittent sometimes that you don't see it moving.
We have recorded him unplugging it. Now, why he unplugs it, I do not know. Here's the deal. Every meteorologist here has their own personality. I'm the silly guy. I'm the goofy guy. He doesn't, I don't think, like that approach. He's more the serious guy. So maybe he just feels weird with this thing in the background. I don't know.
Maybe.
And I'm not going to blame him for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away his vibe.
Everybody has their own vibe.
Yeah, I'm the silly guy. If he feels that takes away from his presentation, then so be it. Whatever.
And I don't think Kurt has a problem with what we do in the morning.
No, he doesn't. But
it's just that it's not his approach. I actually think that's one of the things that's great about here.
that we can all be individuals.
Especially our meteorology department. The range is so big of all of you, and it makes it really interesting.
If management came here and said, you're all going to do this, and you're all going to dress like this, and you're all going to act like this, that would be horrible. We'd be robots.
Well, that did happen to you back in the day. They said, Joe, you must wear a hat and gloves in the wintertime. And then...
And I threatened to quit.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not doing this. And it was a decision I made. I'm like, I'm going to be me, and if they fire me, so be it.
So be it.
And
But I do love that they allow all of our meteorologists to be themselves.
Yeah.
And really, when you do look at a lot of TV stations across the country,
It's
They're
generic.
cookie cutter.
They're
the
cookie
exact
cutter.
same forecast from
Right.
the exact same approach all day long.
And I don't does that appeal to anybody? Let
Well,
people
obviously
be,
people are watching it. It's what they're used to.
but let
Right.
people be who they are.
Let them be different. Variety is the spice of life. All right.
What if you're really weird, though?
Well,
Like Jeffrey Dahmer weird.
Well, that'd be a problem.
that might be an issue. All right.
Okay, as long as you're not hurting anybody,
Yeah.
let people be people.
Donald, you're so funny.
Donnie's got a good one?
This is Donald from Fell Township. How many carpets has Joe worn out from HR calling him into their office?
Speaking of,
What?
well, that kind goes with the previous
the
question.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Generally, you don't get in trouble too much anymore.
I don't.
It just depends on who our manager is, right?
Yeah, I've been here 33 years, and we've gone through 1, 2, 3. We're on 5 different GMs,
General managers,
and
yeah.
countless news directors. So everyone has their own personality.
Yeah.
Some people restrict me more. Some people are more free with that. So I've been down there a lot.
Honestly, there was a time where we got really restricted on the morning
Yes.
show, and I feel like our ratings went down.
Of course they
during
did.
that time.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And people everywhere I went were like, "Why don't you do this anymore? Why don't you do that?" I'm like, "Well,
We're not allowed.
I got to pay the mortgage. I got to pay my car payment. I got to do what management says." But
So now there's been a whole turnover,
Yeah, and it's
there's a
looser
whole
now.
new vibe. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a vibe of the nation too. Don't you guys think things are looser?
I don't know. I think that's just your perspective.
That could be.
I
Oh, I
don't
mean,
know.
20 years ago, you couldn't go to Walmart in sweatpants, could you?
Yeah, I don't remember
No one-
seeing
no one did that.
the people of
Or
Walmart on
pajamas.
the internet 20 years ago. So.
No, but I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. Yeah, they do
changing,
change. It's
And
your
now we have
turn.
more competition. And when you think about like the Walter Cronkite image of the 70s with a news guy all stiff and serious,
Yeah, it's
things
so
have gotten looser over decades.
Although we can't smoke on the air anymore. Remember back when the Edward R. Murrow was like
right.
smoking his ciggies on the air? They probably had some whiskey there too. I don't know.
This
you
is
a
a
vapor?
sciencey question,
Oh, science, here we go.
but I love this question.
Here we go.
If lakes, rivers, and rain are all fresh water, and the rivers and the rain go into the ocean, why is the ocean so salty?
Oh, I love this
Why
one.
are different parts of oceans seem saltier than other parts?
This is a whole half-hour podcast that I have
It
to
really could
that
be.
I have to summarize in a minute.
This is when I was a kid, this was one of the things when we went to the beach. I was like, I don't get it. Why is that river over there is fresh flowing in here?
What do you guys think that the average salt content is of the world's oceans? How salty is, meaning how pure is the ocean versus salty? What's its water content in terms of purity? Do you know?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's 97.5% pure.
Percent
Oh,
water.
96.5% pure.
Okay.
Wow, only like
Only like
3.5%
salt.
salty.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but that 3.5% makes
It tastes so
salty.
salty. Yeah.
So lakes and streams and rivers, they have dissolved minerals in them, but they're transient. Rain falls on them, and then that rain passes over the rocks and it dumps out in the ocean in sometimes a matter of days. So they don't have time to get salty because it's so passing. The oceans just sit there for millions of years, and everything is dumped in them, carrying all these minerals that then dissolve and become the salt of the ocean because the oceans aren't going anywhere. So what makes ocean water really salty when you think about it, like the Black Sea, the Dead Sea?
Yeah, some of those are extremely salty.
So they're bodies of water that are sitting there, and then the sun evaporates all the water, and what's left behind is the salt. So they get saltier.
Okay.
Okay.
But much of the ocean is well mixed, so it has a 3.5% salinity, as we call it. And rivers and streams, they do have salt content in them, but it's very low, less than 0.5%. Because the rocks and minerals that they dissolve to pick up, it just comes and goes, and then rainwater replaces it. Rain is fresh, and everything goes to the ocean and is dumped there. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
I
interesting.
like John. He's like this.
I'm fascinated.
He's a wannabe
His
love
weather.
mouth
this
is open.
stuff.
His mouth. He's like, tell me more.
Yes.
Tell me more science facts, please.
Yeah. So yeah, all water has definitely a mineral content, but it's very low for fresh water because it comes right from the rain, and the ocean it just sits there for millions of years and becomes saltier and saltier. It's a dump. Everything goes
Interesting.
downhill to the
Everything
ocean.
goes to the ocean.
Maybe you're up next.
No, you're up.
You're
Oh,
up.
I'm up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Should we go deep? Should I go mid?
I don't know. You can
Look
do
at all
whatever
these.
you
Look at all
want.
these questions.
Weird
folks.
with the fourth spot being empty.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
so
is weird.
Sean is out today, I think, because it's the Halloween, his daughter.
Right,
because lots of
right.
people
We're all
off
trying to be
Halloween.
good parents here. This is from Tam 33.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. My last one was from Michelle in Saylorsburg.
Okay.
Got to give a shout out to her.
All right, in Bradford County, there are large flocks of large buzzard-looking birds. Can this be an effect of global warming? Do you see them in the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area? Oh my goodness, I am so not a bird expert.
Well, and I don't think buzzard-looking birds hang out in flocks. Aren't they pretty solitary usually?
You can see vultures and buzzards in a flock.
Really?
Not a. I don't think they'd be called a flock, but they do kind of gather together.
Bradford County has a lot of buzzard-looking birds. I don't mean to laugh, but there's 3 things we ban here on the broadcast: French-derived words, bird questions, and
compliments.
Oh yeah, and compliments. Those 3 things are not allowed. Bird questions, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm
because I don't
sorry.
think we have a good answer.
We're not ornithologists.
No, we are not.
So,
And
we could look it up. And
we. No, that one wouldn't
Mindy's
be
up.
a
All right,
look-upper.
my turn.
So,
Are
nice
you sure?
question, but sorry, we don't like bird
Sorry, I
questions.
didn't mean to throw
Should we
everything
change the
around.
compliment thing? We need more compliments.
You
Maybe
want
we
compliments?
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Because
make
we
us
get so
uncomfortable.
many bad things.
What do you got?
It's a long one.
Oh my gosh, it's long.
We don't like long questions either because
Yeah.
look at this is dead
She's
air.
gotta
It's
read it.
uncomfortable. Mindy has that look on her face. She wants to put the wig back on.
I do not.
I think you can do it. Is it a new one?
Okay, this is from Denise. If you
Okay,
stop
Denise.
to get gas at a station that has a convenient mart, after you get gas and want to go into the convenient mart, do you leave your car in front of the gas pump or do you pull into a parking
great
space?
question.
This is a great question.
Do you find it frustrating when you pull into the gas station and there's empty cars in front of the gas tanks? When I used to get gas, I did find that frustrating. Yeah.
This is a great question.
Yeah.
This is a great question. So,
Especially because our area is just full of sheets, now Wawa, and things like Turkey Hills.
But are you saying then if you have the intention of getting gas and maybe having a snack, you should then, let's say you pull up and you get gas,
Yeah.
and then you want to get a snack, should you then leave that spot and then pull into the parking spot?
That's
Yeah.
what they're asking, right?
Or do you leave your car in the gas spot and then just spend 2
They're
minutes
saying
getting
which one do you do? Do you leave your car unattended and go get, and you may be done pumping gas?
It all depends, I think, on the amount of traffic.
I would say
if
that
I
too.
see a lot of people there, I'm not going to be a jerk and hang out in there and leave my car there. But I've
Some
done that
people
many
do.
times.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
When you go to a busy Sheetz or Wawa,
Yeah.
and you have to wait to get a spot, and you realize so-and-so went in to order their MTO. And the reality is at these places, you're going in, most of them haven't pre-ordered their sandwich. So they're going in, they're ordering a sandwich, they're waiting for it to be made.
Yeah.
They're getting
And
it,
then
they're
their
coming
cars
back
are
out.
sitting
in the
in a
back.
That's
spot.
10-some minutes sitting in the gas station
So that's
spot.
being a jerk.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would
So she also says.
But if I pull in at 2:30 in the morning on my way to work, I'm just going to leave the car there and run in and get something.
Yeah, that's true. She also says, please do a public service message and ask people to pull into a parking space before they go into the convenient mart and get their coffee and chit chat with the people
It's
inside.
all relative to the amount of traffic.
But then it
That's
also
true.
feels weird that you just pumped gas and you're like, all right, I'm going to move the car
yeah,
to
now
that
you have to go
parking spot
back and you
right
have to
there.
move the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've done this before, so it's the reverse of that. I'm pulling into convenient. I see all the spots are taken. All I want is to run in and get a drink. I'm gonna pull into the gas spot, not get gas, run in, get my drink, and come out. I've done that all the time.
Really?
But there's no one waiting to buy
Oh,
gas.
okay. All right.
I'm the
How do
only
you
one
know?
there.
How do you know by the
'Cause there's
time
4
you run
lanes
in?
and I'm only
if
taking
there's open
one.
spaces, that
Yeah,
makes
there's
sense.
open spaces. I wouldn't do that. So that's a technique I
Especially at
advise.
some of these convenience stores that do only have a few parking spots.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'd
there's quite a
advise
few that
people
are
to
like
use
that.
my technique, as long as there's no one waiting to get gas.
I don't know. You're playing with fire. That's a
Playing with
risky.
fire.
That's a risky business right there.
All right.
I'm gonna make it one of these
Midway.
times.
No, I think it's a good move. If you know no one's waiting to get gas, it's a free parking spot.
All right.
And you don't have to back up. You just...
Oh, that's
All
true.
right, this is from Thomas. As a tall guy like John Myers,
Oh, perfect.
Myers, I want to know where he gets jeans to fit his length. Additionally, sweatpants or lounge pants also.
So, John, please enlighten us, because you can't really go to the big and tall store,
No,
right?
this is actually a good question.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Because there is actually a struggle there.
Yeah.
Tell us all about your struggles, your wardrobe
I
struggles.
actually find a lot of success at the Boscovs
There you go.
that they have the jeans that'll fit me.
Wait, so could you back up 1 minute to
Yeah.
give me perspective? So I'm an average size guy. I'm a 32-30.
Okay.
What's your length?
I'm a 36, in between 34, 36. So sometimes 36, 36 is what I need. Sometimes 36, 34 is too short. Sometimes it'll fit. Just depends on the cut.
You
But
must have a long torso.
Yeah, because...
I have a
would
really long torso.
Yeah.
I would think it'd even be longer.
No,
Because if
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
30,
have. I
if
don't
I'm
have super long legs.
So you have long torso,
Yeah.
shorter legs.
The trouble is with the way that big and tall is set up is it's big and tall. So, and
So you have to
there's
be
no
big
judgment,
along with tall.
judgment there. But
Yeah.
like if I need a dress shirt, I have a pretty skinny neck and really long sleeves and a really long torso. So it's hard to find a shirt for this size neck and my size everything else.
Wow.
And the same things happens with jeans, because my waist isn't huge, it's 36, that's not that big.
No.
But then a 36 is almost impossible to find.
Yeah.
So
what's,
depends.
what's going on in that torso? Is there just a lot of organs?
Yeah,
in
why
there?
do you have such a long
what's
torso?
going on?
It is a really long, I mean, look when I sit up at just a chair like this, it's really tall.
But is the spleen longer?
Yeah,
Intestines
the
longer?
gallbladder?
So
Yeah.
I must have really big organs, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to fill this up.
Are your lungs longer than everybody else's?
I
Maybe he
guess
has a
so.
giant diafragm.
Giant diaphragm.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
do
must
some
have a
heavy
really
breathing.
big rib cage.
Yeah. This is unbelievable.
Weirdest
Mr. Torso.
conversation ever.
But it is kind of fascinating. I mean, it's
Yeah.
So do
Why
you find, let's say you
have
go
it?
to your average jean place and you want pants, they don't have your size?
usually they don't.
They
No.
don't?
No, it's tough.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
You probably just better off ordering online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, obviously, it's a lot more expensive.
Right,
To
that's
get
true,
things like
yeah.
that.
And the lady stuff, I don't understand your sizing. 4, 5, what are those
You'll
numbers?
never
I
understand
don't
it.
know
No,
what
it
you-
makes
what-
no sense.
I don't understand those numbers.
And a lot of times I wish they had, it goes, between 4 and 6 and 8. I wish there was a 7, because I'm more of a 7. I'm not
Okay.
really a 6, and
Just
I'm
like
not
my
really an
inseam's
8.
a 35.
I
It's
need
not
a
a
7.
34 or 36.
But you
Yeah.
girls don't go by 31, 28,
No,
27?
no, not by the inches, no.
It's all screwed up. It's
It is.
messed up.
It's messed up. We should change this whole system, right?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Jeez.
Wait, are women's shoe sizes, they're not the equivalent to men's either, right?
No, the whole thing's
No,
gotta
they're
stop.
different.
So like if I'm wearing like a size 9 sneaker, that's not going to fit a size 9 woman's foot.
No, it would fit a size 10 woman's foot. So they're just like
See, does
one
that
one
makes no
size
sense
off.
either. Because they're sneakers.
Because my daughter has really big feet, and sometimes she has to go to the men's to get her, because she's like a 10 or 11.
She's a big footer?
Macy is, yeah.
Wow.
She takes after my husband's side of the family, and they're like Vikings. They're huge. So,
Speaking of big with that torso again,
she's
you know how
fascinated
Albert
by the
Einstein, I think he
torso.
allowed his brain to be donated to science. Will you donate your torso to science?
Sure.
That's a great idea.
Right? I want to see what's going on in there.
What's going on inside a tall
torso.
person's torso?
I want to see slice it up into sections. We'll
I
put
think
it on
it's really
display at the
funny that-
Smithsonian. It'll be great.
I hate to say it though, you're 10 years older than me. I don't want you to see my torso.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's really interesting that you actually picked that question, and it was just for
And
you.
it was for me. That
Yeah.
tends to happen a lot here.
Yeah.
All right, we got another long one here. Hopefully, I'll cut it down. Richard, sorry. Why do they have autofilling ports on either side, right or left side of the car? Wouldn't it make safety and more sense to have it in one location?
I've
the
always
driver's
wondered
side
that too.
on some ports and the passenger side on other cars. In days of yore, the filler pipe, do you guys remember this? Was behind the license plate.
Oh,
that's
yes.
right.
Yes, and that kind of made more sense, I guess. Probably not too safe, because if you get hit in the rear,
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But in the mid-50s, our Chevys, the filler was always there behind the taillight. So this is from the fire chief, Pocono Raceway, Dave Chico Richards.
Cool.
So yeah, who decides? So on all my cars, and I have Mazdas, Hondas, and Acuras my whole life, it's always on my side, and I think that's normal. It's on the driver's side. And then when I do drive someone else's car and it's on the other side, that to me is weird.
It's
It
weird,
confuses
yeah.
me.
You guys
yeah.
like it on the other side or no?
I like it on the driver's side.
It should be on the driver's side
Yeah.
because you're pulling up to the pump. Why would you want it on the other side?
And I think if they made that standard, it would be easy. Make things easier, too.
Easier, yeah, I don't know why
Even
they
like in the
switch.
pulling into the spaces. Like, and then if you rent a car somewhere, oftentimes
never
you pull up and
know.
you're like, oh, I'm on the wrong side.
And what about the Tesla girl? Is the plug-in thing on the driver's
It's
side?
on the
or-
driver's side, yeah.
And that's all over. That could be in the rear, side, front. They,
But it's
they put
in
those
the,
things
it's
out.
in the back, so you always back in. If you're on a trip and you go to one of those fast chargers, you always back into the fast charger.
I always thought it was so cool, though, the car we had when I was a kid, and the
You
license
pull
plate
down the
flipped out.
license
Yes.
plate. Yes.
Yeah.
But you're right, I can see it being a safety
I
problem.
guess it was a safety
Yes.
problem.
How much time do we have?
We answered all your problems. I think we're still closing in. I don't know
Oh, you know what? I
uh,
bet my IFB died
We're
again.
25
Oh,
minutes
maybe.
in, Mindy. 20 minutes in. We got
2.5
time.
Oh,
minutes.
okay. 2.5 minutes. Okay.
Tons of time.
All right, all right. Hey, morning crew. Would you rather get $1 for every French fry you eat or every push-up you do? Huh? That's a great question.
Wait a minute.
Would
So,
you rather get $1 for every French
because
fry
I
you
think
eat or
his
$1
point
for
is
every push-up?
his
How do you
point
know
is,
it's a
if
he?
you want to make a lot of money,
Yeah.
you're going to eat a lot of French fries, but
Or
that's
you're
going to
gonna do
be
push-ups.
deleterious to your life. Or you're going to get a lot of money, but you're going to do something good for
And
yourself.
you're gonna be
Right.
I'm definitely taking the push-ups.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah.
You love French fries. You think they're the most wonderful food ever.
But I'm making money doing push-ups all day long.
It's really
Wow.
tough because the French fries is so easy.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna
Such
get fat-
easy money.
You're going to get
Yeah.
And I
fat and
can't
French
do,
fries.
I can't do many push-ups.
Well,
You
maybe
can.
you'd get better at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a limit.
There's money falling from the ceiling, pushing up. Dun, 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 the dollars falling from the
Yeah.
sky. You're going to get a large fry
I
of
think
Burger
I'd come
King.
up with a formula of how many French fries I think I can eat, and
You
still
could eat
not.
you could eat 50 easily.
I could do a lot of
He
French
just told
fries.
me a story about when he was a kid, they'd go to this special wing place that had a special 10 cents a wing, and he would get 40 of them.
You're a wing guy.
Yes.
Well, you know why,
40
Mindy?
wings.
He's got all that torso to
I have
fill.
room to put it in.
That's so true.
So I think I'd go French fries.
Yeah.
And
No
I
way,
try
man.
to,
No, you
I try to
wouldn't.
come up with a formula in my head that I'm not going to eat too many, and I still would.
Yeah. that's true.
$100.
Yeah.
French fries.
What do
Get
you think?
$100 a
What
week.
about you, Mindy?
I
We have
think I
less
would-
than a minute.
I think I would do the push-ups, even though.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
Even
$1
though
every
it's-
time you do a push-up.
You would make more money with the French fries.
I'm going with French
easily.
fries.
Yeah. He's the smarter one.
Show me the money.
Show me the torso. What's in that thing?
Sit up straight.
What the heck is in that thing, Mindy?
I don't know. I
How
never
does-
realized he had such a long torso.
How does he walk around with that thing?
I don't know. It's crazy.
God. We're going to do this again next week. Get your questions, Mr. Curiosity. It's brownbag@wnep.com. We need your questions. We need your help. It's based on you, baby. Have a good
It
weekend.
doesn't matter if you have a long torso.
No, torso's all included.